Hey all you horror fans and horror geeks, welcome to the Chop Block, the only block where the horror community can come together to sit back, relax, and enjoy the genre. I'm your host, Ashton Austin, and I hope you'll chill with me as I dive into cinema's most unique genre, providing screams and scares for decades. So to all my final boys and of course my final girls, grab your coat hangers, grab your knives, and of course your guns. Because I hate to be the one to tell you this, but you're next on the Chop Block. All right, what's going on? Welcome to the live. Welcome in. I'm going to give everyone a second before we get started here. It's about 3 o'clock. I'm just making sure we're live on both fronts, and we are live on both fronts, so let's go. Let's go. Today, we are going to be putting the Scream franchise into a tier list. I put the Scream franchise into a tier list previously on the video. You can go check that out on the channel if you want to. I did the first 6 films. Scream 7, of course, just releasing on February 27th. So just about a month ago. It's going to release on digital tomorrow. So I decided it's about time to go ahead and re-rank them. Scream 7, of course, has sparked controversy. But through it all, slashed this way to 200 million. And I think that's something you can be happy about, just being a Scream fan and being someone who enjoys the franchise, knowing that we're good and well alive. So, without any time wasted, let's go ahead and get into the rankings. All right, guys, let's go. Sorry, I'm just checking in. Just checking everything. All right. We got our tiers. You have Don't F With the Original. It's a Scream, a real-life sequel. Well, there's no accounting for taste. Stab 2. Who would want to do that? Sequels suck. So, of course, Don't F With the Original means pristine, excellent. This is top of the line, best of the best. It's a Scream means it's great. It's up there. It's up there. It doesn't quite match the original, but it's really up there. A real-life sequel means it's okay. It's okay. We could have done some things better. We could have done a lot of things better, but it's okay. It's very entertaining. Well, there's no accounting for taste means this went off the rails. It's borderlining on being bad. And Stab 2, who would want to do that? Sequel sucks means this is bad. I don't like this. This isn't that good to me. So we're going to go in order of release date, starting with Scream in 1996. Scream from I dropped the mouse, y'all. Ow, hold up. I got a Halloween shirt on and I'm ranking Scream. I know. Sue me now, guys. Sue me now. I'm sorry. I have a Halloween shirt on and I'm ranking Scream. Sue me now. But no. Starting with Scream, released in 1996. We're putting it in Don't F With the Original, okay? The first Scream film truly changed the slasher subgenre and horror as we knew it. With the meta hyper-awareness and all of it, I mean, it really was a film that would be remembered for generations to come, as we can see with all these things down here. From the outstanding young teen cast to the shocking moment when they killed Drew Barrymore in the opening, to the telephone element, which became something very gripping in the very beginning. The phone rings, instantly you're met with, this guy right here. He's on the phone. He has on headphones right now because, he thinks I talk too much, so he don't always be down with me. So as far as the first Scream go, we're going to go ahead and get into it. The first act is excellent. Everyone knows the first act of Scream is excellent. When you think about the Casey Becker kill, Sydney's house attack, Sidney and Gale's encounter, along with the attack in the not the attack, but along with some of the scenes at the school. The first act of Scream is very well paced. Now, the second act is also good. It's not as well as the first act. It's not as well paced as the first act, but it's still very good. Now, when you get into the third act of the first Scream, that's what sends this film home. Number one, the set and location has become iconic. The Mocker home is one of the more iconic places in a horror movie. It's still used to this day. It's still an Airbnb, and it was burned down in Scream 7, as everyone knows. And a lot of people have a lot of controversy about Scream 7's usage of the Mocker home, but we're not there yet. The killer reveal in Scream 1 is also a very good reveal. It did the two killer thing, which was a first for its time. It made Billy so obvious, but they really tried in the end to say, no, it's not Billy. It's not Billy. They even gave him the fake out death. They did everything. It's not Billy. It's not Billy. They're giving you a red herring with Randy and Stu. So Billy takes the gun and he reveals himself. Stu, of course, gets back into the house because it's his house and he has been a killer the entire time. And he reveals himself, and it's an epic reveal. I think it's a very epic reveal. And then you learn something and it's also a reveal that builds on another plot in the film, which is the murder of Maureen Prescott. They let you know that no, Cotton Weary did not murder Maureen Prescott. So while everyone may be annoyed with Gale Weathers, while everyone can't stand Gale Weathers, she was right. Billy Loomis and Stu Mocker murdered Maureen Prescott, and they left wearing Cotton Weary's jacket. So the first Scream's third act absolutely sends the film home. It does so many things. It reveals so much. It's so well put together, so well acted by Matthew Lillard, Skeet Ulrich, Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox, and everyone. It's a really good third act, and it's just become iconic. It's just the third act, constantly referenced, constantly looked at in horror. You just know the Scream third act. You know when someone's parodying the third act. You know when someone's referring to the Scream third act. If you see just one scene of the Scream third act while walking by the TV, you know it's the third act from Scream. That is what I mean about how iconic the first Scream and everything in the first Scream is. It's one of those recognizable pieces of media. Now, Scream 2, and this is just my taste, y'all, it's going in, it's a Scream. And let me also say, I'm going to rank them in their tiers because that's how we're going to rank them. So whoever's at the front of the tier is at the top of that ranking. And of course, the tiers are doing the numbered ranking. You'll keep up. I'll explain it once it's all said and done. Now, Scream 2, again, it does what its predecessor did, which is it kills two big stars in the opening. We start off with Jada Pinkett Smith and Omar Epps. Those two names are Maureen and Phil. They're going to the movies to see the new Stab movie inspired by the book Gale Weathers wrote. Because, I mean, Gale had to write the book on this. If anybody was going to write the book on that, it was going to be Gale. So, Gale, of course, wrote the book on it, and now a movie's coming out. In that theater, both of those two college students would be murdered, and it of course got back to Sidney Prescott. We would then find out that there was a copycat killer reconstructing the Woodsboro murders. Of course, Gale Weathers figured that out because she wrote the book on this, y'all. Y'all gotta keep up. Gale wrote the book on this. So we find out there's a copycat murder reconstructing the Woodsboro murders. And so from there, Sidney would be put into protective custody, but that wouldn't last for long. Let's go ahead and just break down Scream 2. Let's get away from the plot synopsis. The kills are pretty well. I like the theater kill. I like the kill with the car chase. I like the car kills. I like Hallie's kills. I like Hallie's death. I'm trying to think of everyone's deaths. CeCe's death is good. But, we have to stop underutilizing Sarah Michelle Gellar in films. We have to stop doing that. All the deaths in Scream 2 are very well executed, very well, good sequences, good chase sequences, very well written, very well acted and directed. The reveal in Scream 2 is also excellent. well put together right there. Well acted by Laurie Metcalf, Nev Campbell, everyone involved. Scream 2's motive is a very simple motive. It's good old-fashioned revenge, but it's a hypocritical motive at the same time, because you left your family, Nancy. You left your son, Nancy, and your son became disturbed, and he went on a murdering spree, and he killed the woman who was having the affair with your husband because you left him. Your son said it himself. Maternal abandonment, I don't know the quote directly, but y'all know what Billy said. So I say all that to say, I mean, it's kind of a hypocritical motive, Nance. But it just goes to show that Billy was crazy, and that crazy had to come from somewhere, and that was his mother. So it all makes sense. It all makes sense in that regard. I mean, the 2 killer reveals are great. I like the killer reveals there. Did we get much of them? No, but with the film that we were given, did the reveal pay off? Did the reveal feel good? And did the reveal make sense? Yes, and that is what matters the most in the reveal. It's not about how much they give you the killer and if the writers can successfully dupe you in the whodunit. It's about what the reveal's theme leads to, what the reveal is saying, what the reveal is commenting on, because that is what Scream is in general. It is something to comment on the genre, to go against the usual, to go against the norm and the general tropes of the horror genre. That is what Scream was. It called out the genre. Scream told you that they knew this was something straight out of a horror movie. What's your favorite scary movie? They're talking about Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th within the first 10 minutes of the first Scream movie. So Scream very much is self-aware in that regard. So it was something that was meant to go against the grain. And so I think the motive in Scream 2 and how they built up to it and how they put the film together, it's a very good motive. It pays off, and it's a very good reveal. Debbie Salt had minimal screen time, but she had good screen time. And Mickey is also a very interesting motive and reveal. I mean, just a pure psycho, just a murderer. Because here's the thing. I just rewatched Scream 2 the other day. Mickey was a killer before his Ghostface killings. He was killing before his Ghostface killings, y'all. So Mickey was already a killer. So in that regard, both individual motives are even more intriguing. Mrs. Loomis just getting good old revenge, probably for your mother being a slut, Sydney. You killed her son, but not your fault, Sydney. He was trying to kill you. But when you just combine those two things, you just ripped her family away, made her go away. Apparently, she didn't look that good back in the day, because she had a whole lot of work done. But Sydney immediately registered who she was. So, that's another thing they did very well. Mrs. Loomis never went near Sydney. And I don't really recall seeing her have any interactions near Randy or Dewey, for that matter. So, and she may have, and I could be wrong, but that's what I mean about how they constructed the film and how it all led up to the reveal and the motive and what was happening. So I like Scream 2 for that fact right there, that Mrs. Loomis just, she deceived everyone. She just wanted good old revenge. And she knew Randy was out of it. That's the part I liked, She knew, not Randy, but Mickey, excuse me. She knew Mickey was out of it. And she knew that, like, oh my God, blame the movies, blah, 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 never gonna work. So she had her plan. But then you got Sidney Prescott, Cotton Weary, and Gail Weathers, and your plan crumbles. But Mrs. Loomis had her plan, and it was just good old-fashioned revenge. And I think it was a good plan and a good motive and a good film overall. Now, Scream 3, the ever so controversial Scream 3, which is going in. It's a real life sequel. Scream 3 is different. I think the first noticeable thing about Scream 3 is kind of that, well, we're still well inside of the Sidney Prescott trilogy, but we're not necessarily getting Sidney Prescott on the level I felt like we should have gotten Sidney Prescott on in this film. We don't get one interaction with Sidney and Roman prior to the reveal. Now, the reveal is what carries Scream 3, because the reveal puts together an excellent trilogy, in my opinion. But when you break down Scream 3 as a film, its opening is meh. Its opening is meh because, already in the opening, they're cheating with that glitchy voice changer, and I hate it. So, the opening's meh. The opening is meh. I like I like Roman in this movie. I like the Ghostface in this movie, despite the kills being so basic and simple. Knowing that it's one Ghostface and kind of seeing how this Ghostface moves, it's almost creepy. It's almost creepy how, he can't make a mistake. He has no partner. He has to make phone calls and go in for the kill. Now, if you want to stick to the Angelina theory, be my guest. Be my guest. If you think Angelina's still alive, hey. But I think in Scream 3, a lot of what carries Scream 3 and everybody calling it a good film is its reveal. But a lot of Scream 3 is dog kills, mad characters for the Scream franchise, with the standout of Parker Posey as Jennifer Jolie. Her and Courtney were excellent. You got a Carrie Fisher cameo in here. You got big names in this movie still. It's still a Scream movie. You still got big names cameo. And I don't like that Cotton is an opening kill. I don't feel like Cotton deserved that. Cotton made it to a third act. Cotton was so entangled in all of this. I feel like Cotton deserved to at least be a mid-movie kill. If not, maybe a third act kill. But the fact that Cotton was the opening kill, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Roman is Sidney's brother. You would have to imagine he's been stalking and he knows what all there is to know about Sidney. So if you want to find Sidney Prescott, why are you starting the killing spree off with Cotton Weary? A lot more sense, and people may not have liked it, but a lot more sense would have been Dewey as the opening kill. Maybe Survivor, because maybe he could have pulled a Jenna Ortega way back in Scream 3, because Dewey probably was the one who actually knew where Sidney was, and he was the one who knew anyway. So Dewey would have made more sense, and I feel like anyone who saw Stab, since it was well popular in Scream 2, would know that Dewey and Sidney have the close-knit bond relationship. You're directing Stab 3. Why on earth would Sidney tell Cotton Weary where she's going into hiding in? I mean, no offense. She sent him away to prison. You never know when he could become salty and become a ghost face. So it doesn't make a lot of sense in that regard. That's what I mean about Scream 3. I think Scream 3 is an entertaining film. It is campy. It is funny. Again, it's a Scream film. It's fun. They're always fun. But I don't like the story. I don't like the writing. I don't like what they did with outlining the plot of Scream 3. On to Scream 4. Scream 4 is going in, don't F with the original, behind the original Scream. I absolutely love Scream 4. I think Scream 4 is a revolutionary Scream film. It came out at a perfect moment to comment on reboots and remakes in the horror genre, and why it may not have dominated at the box office, its motive remained fresh. Its motive aged like fine wine. The cast was young, and I think the cast was very young and high energy. And I think Scream 4 was one of Ghostface's most brutalist movies. Some of the best writing and performances from Roger L. Jackson and Kevin Williamson in terms of the Ghostface dialogue. I really liked all of it. It's like Jill and Charlie knew they were making a movie, so they were going out of their way to make everything feel cinematic, and that it did. Scream 4 is a very good movie. I mean, it has good characters in it. It feels like it feels like a classic Scream movie, in my opinion. It has those good characters you can root root for. You know, it has a Kirby, it has a Charlie who ended up being the killer. You know, even Robbie, you know, you can root for him a little bit. You know, Trevor, you know, being the obvious red herring, and then you bring back Sidney Prescott, Dewey, and Gail are married in this movie, which is a dynamic we've never seen from them because they're always at odds at the beginning of a Scream movie. So this time we see them, you know, clump together, separate, and then brought back together. So Scream 4, it takes the formula and it does so many different things with it, and it shows you how to do a remake. And that is why it's in this tier, because this quote is from this movie. You don't F with the original. I don't believe in remakes. I don't believe in remakes. I like Rob Zombie's little remake, but I don't believe in remakes. You don't need to remake the perfect film in this franchise. Scream is always going to be the perfect film in the franchise. And so I think Jill being the killer, if you're not one of those people who, I'm looking at every leak, I'm looking at every teaser, blah, 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 I'm looking at the soundtrack before the movie even come out, Jill being the killer was an absolute jaw dropper to general audiences. And you know it. Jill being the killer was a jaw dropper because they branded Jill as the new Sidney. So to find out Jill was the killer, and in 2011, her motive simply being that all I ever hear is Sidney this, Sidney that, Sidney. I want some of the attention. I want some of the fame. That type of motive paid off, and Kevin Williamson and Wes Craven saw the social media craze. They saw what was coming, and they wrote an excellent film in Scream 4. They put together an excellent film in Scream 4 because that motive absolutely pays off nowadays. So many people, do so many horrible things just to get some fame on the internet, just to get their 15 minutes, just to feel relevant. I mean, it's scary, honestly. It really is. It's scary. So Scream 4 absolutely hit their motive on the head. I say again, Jill's reveal, very good. Charlie's reveal, very good. I mean, you took the final girl, you took the expert, and you turned them into killers, because while everybody said Robbie was the expert, I felt like Charlie was the expert. He was president of the film club. He was the actual expert, you know. He was the actual expert. He was the one really, you know, running the Stabathon. And, you know, he was so into it, he even became a killer. You can even say Kirby is also the expert. And that is another standout character of Scream 4. Number one, you have to commemorate Kevin Williamson on his character creation in general and all of his projects. Kevin Williamson knows how to create some likable and lovable characters, because Kirby Reed is one of them. Absolutely love Kirby. Absolutely love that Kirby survived Scream 4. Absolutely love that the OG survived. I absolutely love the introduction of Deputy Judy Hicks. I love Deputy Judy. You know, you need characters like that. Scream 4 is also, you know, it takes us back to Woodsboro. And it feels like Woodsboro again. And when I say that, we've only gone back to Woodsboro once, which is twice, which is Scream 4 and Scream 5. And guess the opening of Scream 7. But when I say it felt like Woodsboro and Scream 4, Scream 5 is good, but I won't say it necessarily feels like Woodsboro. I don't think Scream 5 felt like Woodsboro. They're in Woodsboro, but it doesn't feel like Woodsboro because of the way it's shot. Even when we go back to the Mocker home has some beautiful landscape. The Mocker home is huge with a ton of land. We knew that. But they, of course, were on a soundstage, so they couldn't shoot it the way you shot that first Scream film, or the way they shot some of the sequences in Scream 4, just from house and street shots in Scream 4 compared to Scream 5. Scream 4 felt like Woodsboro, looked like Woodsboro. I don't think Scream 5 did. Now, Scream 7, I mean, it was just, you know, a little small shot, so, you know, it's not much to say there. Scream 4's opening it's decent. I think it kind of ranks towards the bottom of the franchise for me in terms of opening sequences. But after that Scream 4 opening, it very much is just up from there. I mean, the film has those witty, snappy, interesting characters that Kevin Williamson is known for. It has those characters again that Scream 3 was missing because we were missing Kevin Williamson in Scream 3. So, it brought back the interesting characters that Scream is so known for. It brought back that, level of meta-ness back to the films. Because Scream 3 also felt like it lacked in the meta department. I felt like Scream 3 very much lacked in the meta department. The Scream 4 very much brought it back. We got our rules breakdown. We're trying to follow the rules. You've got Gail doing her investigation. You've got Sidney just trying to protect her family. That was the saddest part about Jill being the killer. Sidney really only just wanted to make sure Jill and Kate didn't become a victim to this darkness that follows her, which is the Ghostface identity and killer. And to find out that it was Jill, I know that still probably would haunt Sidney Prescott still to this day. So that's another thing. I think Scream 4 is a very impactful film in terms of what it does to the story. It adds a second member of the Prescott family to the killing spree. She's not a Prescott, but you know what I mean. Adds a second member of Sidney's family to the killing spree. And so it inflicts a certain level of trauma. And again, it was executed well. The entire third act of Scream 4 is excellent. And I love the hospital sequence. I mean, I love Scream 4's third act. The second act is excellent. The first act is honestly sluggish. But the second and third acts are excellent, which is very good for a film. Because, I mean, we about to forgot your first act by the time you get into such a good second and third act. I'm serious. But yeah, Scream 4 does a lot of good things well. And that is why I have it right behind the original Scream and Don't F with the original. Now on to Scream 5. I'm going in, it's a Scream, and I'm going to put it behind Scream 2. Scream 5 came out in 2022, just titled Scream. But everyone knows it's Scream 5. It starred Jenna Ortega, Melissa Barrera, Jasmine Savoy Brown, Dylan Minnette, Mason Gooding. Who else we had? Mikey Madison, Academy Award-winning Mikey Madison. Who else we had? Kyle Gallagher. And then, of course, the originals, David Arquette, Courtney Cox, and the incomparable Neve Campbell. It brings back your originals. It takes you back to Woodsboro. It's new generation. You get the bombshell reveal that the new protagonist you're following is the daughter of Billy Loomis, conceived during the original Woodsboro murders, I guess. Since Sidney and Billy were in a sexless relationship, it would appear that he slept with another teenager at Woodsboro High named Christina Carpenter. She would go on to have her first child named Samantha Carpenter. Sam. We follow Sam in Scream 5. When Sam's sister Tara, aka Jenna Ortega, is attacked, she makes history as the first Ghostface victim to survive the opening attack. And it brings Sam back to Woodsboro where someone knows her secret. She is the daughter of famed serial killer Billy Loomis, okay? So, from there, the attacks continue. Of course, Tara has a close-knit group of friends. Of course, there's a movie nerd. Of course, there's the jock. Of course, there's there's the sweet, charming boyfriend next to Sam. It's all there. You've got all your suspects and potential victims, and it's just a classic Scream format, and is executed so well by excellent directors in Matt and Tyler, aka Radio Silence, because I think those two are excellent directors. They're just what they do with set pieces, what they do with scenes, angles, lighting, camera movements. I love the way Radio Silence directs, and I think they did an excellent job on Scream 5. I think the usage of Sidney Prescott is what you do if you're not going to center it around the legacy characters. The usage of Gale is what you do if you're not going to center it around a legacy character, along with Dewey as well. He unfortunately had to die, and that's what makes Scream 5 another standout film. It's a good film with a meaningful death, because if Dewey would have died in a bad film, we're all pissed off. But it's a great film with a meaningful death, okay? It's a great film with a meaningful death. So it gives Scream 5 stakes. So that's why I have Scream 5 and It's a Scream behind Scream 2, Scream 4, and Scream. I think the third act of Scream 5 is very good. I think the reveal is... it's classic, it's classic, but I think Jack Quaid and Mikey Madison just give off such just awesome performances that just, how do you not love that Scream 5 third act? You've got this new, good, spunky final girl and Melissa Barrera Sam. You've got Tara, who's Jenna Ortega, and many horror audiences already know Jenna Ortega, so you just know when she's on that screen, she's a force. You've got Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox doing what they've been doing for almost 30 years, back at it again. I mean, the third act of Scream 5, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. It was an enjoyable experience. I loved it. The motive, well, when you think about all the controversy that's happening in the Scream franchise, the motive seemed to make a lot of sense. Two crazed fans get fed up with the fact that their favorite franchise hasn't put out a good movie in ages. So what do? They take the franchise back to its roots based off of true events. They lure the illegitimate daughter of Billy Loomis back to Woodsboro. They start a killing spree in which they intend to frame her for, and they create the Stab franchise an actual villain. That was Richie and Amber's motive. And I mean, it's a good motive. It's a good motive. It's a believable motive for this day and age we're in, where fandom has become so, I'm not going to say toxic, but it's toxic in a way. But fans just kind of get too wrapped up in this stuff at times. I have to say that fans do get too wrapped up in this stuff at times. And I think Richie and Amber have believable motives. Excuse me. I think they have believable motives. I think the deaths of the two are good. And I think it really puts the Scream franchise, like, it puts it in good hands, in my opinion, because, hold on, I'm sorry. Okay, I was fixing that. But yeah, the motive is a good motive. I think the third act puts the Scream franchise in good hands. I like that Jenna Ortega defied all odds and not only survived the opening, but survived the entire film. I like that we got a sister duo as the new final girls for Scream, because Scream is such a character-driven horror franchise. It's a franchise built on character relationships and character interactions. It's a mysterious franchise. It is very much a brutal slasher franchise, but it's one of the more emotional, character-driven franchises. So I think that introducing Sam and Tara was so good, because what they go on to give you in Scream 6 is a real payoff. Now, on to Scream 6. I'm putting Scream 6 in a real-life sequel, but I'm putting it in front of Scream 3. Now, why isn't Scream 6 in It's a Scream or Don't F with the Original? Well, it's not going to Don't F with the Original, but why isn't it in It's a Scream? Why isn't it higher? Well, here is the problem I have with Scream 6. Okay, here's the problem I have with Scream 6. I'm going to talk about the problems before I talk about the good, because I want to end on a positive note about Scream 6. Scream 6 has some excellent set pieces. It has some things we've never seen from Scream before. It just has Ghostface at an all-time high in brutality and intimidation. But it feels like a modern, generic horror script that we kind of reweaved and rewove into a Scream movie. And Radio Silence again directs the heck out of that film. The Those two are excellent directors. I loved bringing back Hayden Panettiere to come and play Kirby. I think she was excellent. I don't like Gail's character as much in this film, but I do like that we finally got Courtney, an emotional arc and a full drawn out chase sequence and interaction with the killer pre-reveal. I really like that. Now we got one in Scream 2. And we've had some in Scream 3, but this one actually started like in classic Scream territory, like ring, ring, ring. Hello, Gail. You know, it started in classic Scream territory, and that's something I really love, but Gail's character is not something I really love. I don't like the reveal in Scream 6. If you're going to reheat Scream 2's nachos, you've got to put a twist on it. If you're going to reheat Scream 6's nachos, and they did not put a twist on it. I mean, Scream 2's nachos, they didn't put a twist on it at all. Now, the good in Scream 6, and there's so much good. Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera are excellent. Jasmine Savoy and Mason Gooding are excellent as well. Hayden Panettiere, she's great. Courtney Cox is good. Dermot Mulroney's good up until the third act. This film is so well casted. This is what I meant about feeling like a Scream film. You just got great characters all around, characters you could root for, characters that are just easy to find comfort in and to just watch uncover everything that's happening. But again, there's no mystery in the film. Think about back in the day, like Ethan's econ alibi, Gail Weathers, Sidney Prescott, Dewey Riley. Somebody would have checked that alibi. Nobody checked that alibi because that alibi was fake. Ethan was not in econ. So what I mean was, it was the most obvious killers in the world, in my opinion, in terms of Scream 6. And I think that takes away from a Scream movie mystery. I need to be at least thinking, who is it? You know, every time something happened. Now, I'll say this. The third killer was probably the most interesting part for me, because I didn't know who that third killer was. It was Quinn. Kudos to him. I didn't know who that was going to be. I just thought it was going to be a character we've never seen before, but it was Quinn. Kudos to him. The Mindy line was such a horrible line, in my opinion. Mindy? Come on now, please. Have some respect for Mindy as a character. Mindy would never. So I didn't like that line, but I don't like the reveal of Scream 6. I really don't. You kill Annika early, right? You kill Annika early, and after you kill Annika early, and Ethan is conveniently not there, and we don't ever see Ethan get attacked, really. We see Sam and Terry get attacked we see Sam and Terry get attacked at the bodega. We have the apartment attack scene, but again, Ethan not being attacked, and it was kind of obvious. Detective Bailey, you fuck with my family, you die. That was kind of obvious. That doesn't really sound like a cop mentality to me. There were so many things lacking in common sense in this film, like a local NYC detective, low-grade detective, can just call the FBI and say, give me everything you have on your special agent Kirby Reed. No. What? I'm not turning over information or medical records or sensitive information about an FBI agent to a low-level NYC detective. So, again, there were some things lacking in Scream 6, but then you have all these pros in Scream 6, like the kills. The kills are excellent. They're brutal. They're nameless, but they're excellent. The chase sequences are excellent. The Ghostface is at one of the most intimidating points it's been at. It really is an intimidating Ghostface in stature, in the way they moved, in the old mask. The old mask was really a nice touch. And I like the character work in Scream 6. I like the character work in Scream 6 for Sam and Tara and Kirby. I really do. I like the character work. Also, Gail as well. I like the character work for all of them. I'm still thinking about Gail and Ghostface's call. I really enjoyed Gail and Ghostface's call in Scream 6. The character work is excellent in Scream 6. I think it's very good. Another gripe I'm going to have to put on Scream 6, unfortunately, is the survival of all its characters. Come on. Scream 2 had the guts to kill off Randy. Somebody had to go, Scream 6. And see, you built that good relationship with Tara and Chad. And I mean, it's a relationship that, became easy to root for. It was a nice little good looking relationship. And everyone survived just the most brutalist of attack. I'm talking Scream meets the Avengers universe. People are getting gutted beyond repair. Just a paper cut. We're going to keep it moving. So that was questionable. That'll always be questionable. Hold on. We crack a good. In terms of what Scream 6 does for moving together a constant plot for a trilogy, I can't go too hard at it because they didn't get to execute their version of Scream 7. They said it was meant to be a feel-good movie. So, it just kind of, Scream 6 just kind of feels like one that floats out there. It's a very much important film because, the events of Scream 5 just happened. You got Gail coping with Dewey's death. You got things like Gail, of course, was brutally injured in this one. The most brutally injured she's ever been in the franchise. So, important things happen in Scream 6, but it just feels like one of those that's just kind of out there and it's just kind of there. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I was hungry. It's live. See, I can't edit this stuff out when it's live, so you just got to bear with it. And the one we've all been waiting to talk about, the most recent of the Scream films, Scream 7. I'm putting Scream 7 in. It's a Scream. I'm putting it in front of 3 and 6. Already, Scream 7 has one of the worst reveals, if not the worst reveal in the franchise. It's a very questionable reveal because of, like I said, it's all about how you handle the movie. But at the same time with Scream 7, I very much agree with Scream 7's motive now. I don't think Scream 7 motive really needs time to age. I think parasocial relationships very much exist. I think people very much latch on to these celebrities and people very much treat these celebrities in these idealistic, God-like manners. And I think it is dangerous. And I think these things could happen, when a person stands a celebrity so hard and then they mess around and that celebrity does something, I don't know, some major philosophical switch, and that person has now snapped. But the problem with 7's reveal is how 7 went about handling their ghost faces. 7 did not nearly do enough with their ghost faces, besides making Marco an obvious ghost face in his few scenes at the hospital, because he was clearly lying about Stu being there. Because now the Stu heads are also a problem. If you're giving Scream 7 slack on not bringing Stu back, the Scream franchise has always been one of the biggest franchises rooted in realism, except for Chad's survival in his films. Okay, so not bringing Stu back is a reminder that, hey, this is Scream. Stu is dead. Stu is dead. When a character is dead this long, they are dead. We cannot have these crazy retcons out of the blue. It's just, no, I don't even want the franchise to go down that road. Let's keep it fresh. I mean, you have to move on from your protagonist at some point. You can keep your ghost faces fresh, but to keep your ghost faces fresh, you do have to go past Sidney Prescott at some point. As far as Scream 7's character work, honestly, underdeveloped Tatum, but really good character work between Sidney and Gale. I really enjoy Sidney and Gale, and I really just enjoy seeing where Sidney Prescott stands after all these years of trauma. In 4 and 5, we see her outside of her regular life coming to assist or being forced to assist in one manner, but in 7, you really are back with Sidney Prescott, and it's almost comforting and nostalgic in a way. And I think it has a very enjoyable first act and second act and slight third act. There are parts of the third act that are really good, and then the reveal just weighs it down so much because Neve Campbell is putting on an outstanding performance throughout this entire film. But that reveal just weighs down that third act so much for 7. But in terms of the friend group, because that's what everybody wants to talk about, the friend group did not feel heavily developed, but they didn't feel underdeveloped to me. I think the main character of this film was Sidney Prescott and Tatum Evans. So in those two being the main characters, we don't have time to spend all this time with the teenagers. They have to develop, they have to address the mystery, develop Sidney and Tatum's relationship. They've got to have scenes with the twins. They've got to have scenes with Gale and Sidney. It's a lot to do. And I think the utilization of the friend group was the correct way to utilize them in this format of Scream. If you read first time critic reviews, you would have thought you were coming in for just a reheating of Scream 1's nachos, but it wasn't. And it's kind of crazy to me how that went over some critics' heads, maybe. And I mean, maybe a lot of audiences aren't enjoying it either because there are a lot of plot inconsistencies in this film. But I think this film showed a lot of, it almost showed homage, and it appreciated what came before. It appreciated the first Scream. And despite all the controversy that led up, it even used the previous film in Scream 6 to describe its motive, because Scream 6 is not its motive. It describes its motive. The motive is deeper. She created a superhero in Sidney Prescott. When Sidney Prescott doesn't show up for the New York Ghostface killings, it's like Batman not showing up to fight the Joker. It broke Jessica. It broke her because she has a parasocial relationship with Sidney Prescott, being a victim of abuse herself. So that is the mental aspect of Scream 7's reveal and how the reveal applies to the real world. I think the reveal can apply to the real world in a very good aspect. I think it's the people who underthink the reveal. Oh, the reveal is she went on the killing spree because Sidney didn't go to New York. No, that's not what happened. She went on the killing spree because she wanted to create a new hero. And she wanted to kill Sidney in front of Sidney's daughter to make Tatum, the new Sidney. Now, as far as the kills in 7, I really love the kills in 7. And again, I see a lot of people nitpicking 7 on stuff we have never nitpicked Scream on this hard. like Lucas's skills. No way she lifted him. Now come on. When the Ghostface costume come off, people are significantly shorter. People are significantly taller. You know, when the Ghostface costume come off, it don't ever look like how it's looked off film. So you can't nitpick that. No way she did that, or no way that person was Ghostface, or no way this person was Ghostface. I think the kills are excellent in Scream 7. I think the pacing of Scream 7 is very, very good. From the theater sequence to the Evans home attack, home intrusion, to Gale coming in to kill Carl. I mean, really throughout all of that, the audience just doesn't get a chance to breathe, and it's the best rush ever. I mean, my theater literally cheered, clapped, cheered when Gale Weathers got out the car. I didn't even know audiences loved Gale Weathers that much. I was shocked to find out how loved Gale Weathers was that day. Literal cheers when Gale got out that car. It was something to see. But it's also, again, that just some of that classic Scream feeling coming back. That's why I put it in It's a Scream. This film just kind of felt like Scream again, being scored by Beltrami, just having some of those longer chase sequences, just having those OGs there. This feels like Scream. Again, the plot is so underdeveloped and the story is so underdeveloped. But I think what a lot of people don't give Kevin Williamson credit for, because he was involved in the rewriting of the script, is that he directed this film so well, in my opinion. These sequences, the chases, the kills, the everything in this film is just so well directed. It brings back the character of Scream, the heart in Scream, the brutality back into Ghostface, that intimidation factor. He directed this film very well. So that is my ranking. Scream 1, Scream 4, Scream 2, Scream 5, Scream 7, Scream 6, and Scream 3. I want to thank you guys for coming through on the live stream. Let me know what your Scream rankings are in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time on the Chop Block.
Hey all you horror fans and horror geeks, welcome to the Chop Block, the only block where the horror community can come together to sit back, relax, and enjoy the genre. I'm your host, Ashton Austin, and I hope you'll chill with me as I dive into cinema's most unique genre, providing screams and scares for decades. So to all my final boys and of course my final girls, grab your coat hangers, grab your knives, and of course your guns. Because I hate to be the one to tell you this, but you're next on the Chop Block.